I'm here with Abiosis from Salem. We got Brandon the drummer, Jake guitar and vocals, and Logan bass and vocals. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we are doing mighty fine, good sir. Doing fantastic over here.
Yep.
All right, those are award-winning answers. Thank you guys for coming over here. What do you guys got going on?
Oh, man, we got quite a bit going on right now. So we just got our second sophomore album, just all finished up, recorded, mixed, mastered, all that. Just got the finals back. So just kind of sitting on that, shopping around right now, just waiting to get it out, and just really super stoked to push it out and get it out to the masses. And all this new stuff is just really going brutal. And other than that, Jake's getting ready to be a dad, and just kind of everyday life, man. I don't know, you got anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, we've just been kind of grinding. We hit the shows pretty hard last year, and in between, we kind of been waiting on these edits for these new tracks. This year, we kind of kicked it off by writing some more material, but we're really excited about this album that we just recorded, got edited, mastered. Sounded good.
Yeah.
Sounded good.
Yeah.
How about you, Mustache?
I don't know. That covers it.
Oh, he's shy.
We all are. So how many tracks do you guys have on this new release?
This one's 9. We went for a weird number, not intentionally. We just stopped writing after 9.
Yeah, and we got a couple of instrumental tracks on this one too. And another new thing that we're going for with this album is there are no guitar solos, but there are quite a few bass solos. So we get to let Logan's inner rock star shine a little bit with some of those awesome bass solos. So really super stoked about that because it all came out sounding really good. And we had Ed from Discord do the mixing and mastering on it. And shout out to Charlie from Incantation for recording it for us, tracking us for it. Big shout out. Charlie and Ed. Good people.
Ed.
Yes. But, dude, Ed did such a good job. And he was very attentive to, like the post-production stuff, all the added, soundscapes or the post, just anything post-production wise. He was really good about that and really like open to communication and suggestions. So I feel like there's a new element that we've been missing as a band in this new album that is really going to not only influence us to push harder and further for this third one, but also really bring a new presence live.
Nice.
To like the live shows and stuff.
Nice. And I'd have to say, like, I heard, obviously, your guys' release, Revelations of the Macabre, right? Wasn't that what that one was? Release?
Yes, sir.
And I was lucky enough to hear one of the tracks before it had been mastered. I got to say, the one thing that, from the one track I've heard, was that the word that comes to mind is articulation, how much more articulate it is. And I'm sure, like, you're playing bass, dude, like, having a much cleaner, tighter sound. Obviously, you guys are tuning higher than you did in the past, too, I believe. So what was that like for you, man? Like, when you were writing your solos and composing that stuff and writing it, did it seem to like you had a little more to work with because you had a little better, like, a little more intonation working for you?
Yeah, so I mean, the way we went about writing this album was completely different. Revelations was kind of written over a span of time, I think like within 3 to 4 years roughly. So there was a lot of mix and match songs that may not have had a consistent flow. With this one, we were lucky enough to have COVID on our side to where we just fucking hunkered down, and me and Jake spent a lot of time of writing, and like there's song transitions where the notation ends on something, but the next song picks up right on that same note, so it has an easier flow. With the whole bass solo thing, I don't know how that came to be. It just kind of fit naturally, like I was asking Jake if he wanted to throw solos in there because there's some open spaces, because that's what we like to do, is like put some dissonance in there, and but there were no guitar solos that were written, so I just kind of took advantage of that and put the low end in there, and just tried to make it flow good.
Nice. And that's definitely unique, because if there's one thing, there's a lot of it's fucking guitar solos. Like, there's a million of them, you know what I mean? So having bass solos are really unique, and
for sure,
like, it makes it sound classy. And did you track with that upright bass that you have?
No, so I just tracked with my Ibanez Ergodyne.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I did partial of the album fingerstyle, and then realized wasn't hitting the marks that I wanted to, so I kind of switched in and out with pick. So.
Yeah, I mean, for articulation purposes, probably trying to like lock in with the drums and everything. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, in a production sense, that like it makes it so much easier too to get that articulation, and it's cleaner. That's really cool that you guys decided to add that element. And that being said, like, you talked about like one song ending on a note and starting on the same one. So is this another concept album then?
No, it's not actually. This is we decided to break away from that. That's a lot of work, man. I mean, that's a gigantic piece of music that all has to fit and flow within itself. So this one was really kind of nice. I mean, it was written in a closer time period, from start to finish. So it's all way more consistent in comparison to album number 1. So it gives that feel, and there's kind of a generalized concept above the whole thing, which is pretty much just death and a lot of existentialism,
Metal.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're going to beat a dead horse back to life, kind of an idea.
I mean, we've all been there.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely, man.
We all work a lot, and at the end of the day, you kind of wonder,
Right.
Is there anything at the end there? Traffic really sucks.
Right. I get that. Hell yeah.
But no, I mean, like the biggest thing that we really enjoy, at least for me, when I write a lot, one thing that I focus on quite a bit is just low end technical precision. That's the thing that I think is just fantastic. When you're with people you really enjoy playing music with in the first place, and you push each other really, intensely. That's why there's not a lot of guitar leads in it. I always just focused a lot on making the rhythm more challenging for myself and really dynamic and constantly changing with a lot of different vocal patterns across the whole thing. So that's where we got Logan stepping up to the plate and really kind of nailing these leads. And I think it comes out fantastic. It gives us... We do a lot of harmonizations between the guitars, doing that low end, kind of off the wall precision at high speeds. So we can focus on that along with harmonized vocals, and then this guy jumps up front, which is fantastic.
Nice. Now, Brandon, are you singing on the record too?
So on this second record that we just recorded, no. But after the record was recorded and everything, we did make the decision to start adding my vocals into it. So with this third album that we are currently in the process of beginning and writing, I think we just started our first song on the third album. I will be doing vocals. Now, nice. With the set that we currently have, I am slowly starting to add in vocals to the set that we have. So I will be doing vocals on these songs that we have recorded, but I just am not in the recording. So live, you'll hear my vocals. But to answer the question, in the second album, I don't have any vocals. But in the third one, we're going to start integrating that a little bit more. So 4 vocals. And the only reason I really haven't done it thus far is just like kind of like what Jake was saying. Like we all push each other in this band very much. We're always striving to be better musicians and lock things in tighter and so on and so forth. And so it's just a lot, dude. Like, could you go up to Spencer Pruitt and tell him to do vocals for Arcspire while he's drumming? And so yeah, but no, man, it's just like I want to always adapt and upgrade and push ourselves. And so the next logical step for me was to play the material that Abiosis demands of me and do vocals. And the cool thing with Abiosis is like, yeah, we're lyrically we're pretty fast paced and pretty choppy. But that's what's so cool about having the 3 and 4 vocals is we can, we can switch off between the people. So that's going to work in our favor right there. And that just opens up the more doors for possibilities vocal wise and stuff like that, different harmonies and stuff. Like Cole, our other guitar player who unfortunately isn't here tonight, his addition vocally has added a really nasty taste to the Abiosis material. Like the recordings that we got where his mid-range highs are being added into it, just disrespectful. Just disrespectful. So we're pretty stoked on it. But I'll start adding vocals in slowly but surely. Just gonna kind of experiment with it a little bit because I want it to be the best sound for Abiosis. I'm not just going to jump in all willy-nilly and lay it out. Like I want to make sure it sounds good. I want to make sure it fits. And if it doesn't, then I won't do it. If it does, then cool, we're on to something.
Right. And having a plan with the music you guys play is, necessary for sure. And, it's extremely fast. Like you're saying, even vocally, having the ability to switch between people, and keep that intensity there because having the vocals like that definitely adds like that over the top push that, really gives it its, like you said, its nastiness.
Yeah, it's like one influence we had vocally, just in terms of like the multiple vocals and how they chop back and forth is like Gorgasm. Gorgasm was me personally too, just for like vocal wise and stuff like that. Like, dude, the guys that those guys are just on point with how they switch back and forth, and then the tones that they use, they mesh well together and whatnot, and it's just good teamwork.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. And Jake, you predominantly were the vocalist, weren't you, throughout the years? Like you guys had talked too that Abiosis has been a band for what, 11 years?
12 years. Wow, Jesus Christ. Yeah, 12.
Yeah, that's
It's been a rough ride. It's been a good one though, dude. It's been a fun one. In our first one, I think we did a bit more of like a 60-40 split between Logan and myself. We just kind of focused on that. Our other guitar player at the time didn't want to do them. It was a little bit difficult for drums to be doing them at the same time too.
I could have done them in the recording of the first album, but then playing that stuff live at that time was to me, it was like, man, I don't want to overexert myself. I don't want to take away from my performance on drums, just to add in these vocals. Right. So like he was saying, the first album, it was definitely predominantly him and Logs.
Yeah. Also, when we were doing that, I was mainly like reaching for the highs, but as time went on and we kind of matured as musicians, I've been just getting lower and lower. So I'm matching his intensity as well. So we're hitting like 50-50 almost nowadays.
Yeah, and that's probably really cool too with like a transition thing when like one of you guys stops, the other one starts. It's like doesn't miss a beat obviously, but also too the tonality is kind of the same too. So like, it's an inflection for the person that's doing the vocals, but that's really really cool and it's interesting sounding. That's one thing I think that sets you guys apart too is the multiple vocal thing. That's pretty powerful stuff. And yes, people have done it and they do it well, but it's cool to see like now you guys got 4 voices, and I totally understand, dude. Playing drums and singing. Playing drums in general is difficult, but singing too, that's crazy.
Well, especially with this material too, because I've been involved in various projects over my span of my musical career and whatnot, but Abiosis has always been the band to push me further as a musician and kind of just upgrade me in my abilities and whatnot. So I think it's all going to work out. I think it's all going to be really good. And I'm really stoked to add in the element because like Logs was saying, him and Jake are kind of bringing down the low end pretty good in terms of vocal wise. And I think in Cole, he's really kind of solidifying himself in like the mid-range high sort of a thing. So I think I'm going to kind of follow suit with that and maybe add another addition of like kind of a mid-range high with a few lows mixed in. But to be quite fair with you, and sorry to anyone else watching this, but Jake has got absolutely some of the best vocals that I have heard in the Pacific Northwest, hands down. Just absolute brutality, just nuts on the table, just bead of sweat coming down, like just full on, man. And so I don't want to take away from that. I don't want to take away from that. And that's the thing with Abiosis is we do a lot, but we don't want to do too much. Right. And kind of taking it back to what Logs was saying with like our material, we have a lot of fast-paced technicality stuff, but then we also open it up. We're real big on keeping the groove and keeping the rhythm, but having that intensity and that drive in between those spots.
Right. And I remember seeing you guys in the past live too, and like that was one thing when maybe some of the songs that you guys were playing live like a couple years ago, are they on the record now?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got ahead of ourselves a little bit, but it's one of those things, we're not attached to a label at the moment, so we get a little bit more wiggle room. We can hit a show and be like, we're pretty stoked on this content. We've been practicing it. Let's kind of throw it out there and see what kind of a response we get.
Right.
Especially like during COVID and after COVID, like we wrote some of the best material that we've written thus far, and we're coming out of COVID, and it's like, dude, we want people to hear this, like check out what we've been up to, sort of thing. So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, dude. And like that being said, I remember hearing some of them songs like you're talking about having open spots where the bass solos came in. Like that was cool. Another addition to your guys' style that necessarily wasn't there. The first, maybe the first EP that you guys had put out or this and that was really cool to see that too. And that's a great canvas to lay some stuff down with. And like you're saying too, dude, like being in a band where you guys are playing really demanding music that's extremely aggressive and it's fast, like you want to add, you never want to take back. And like how important is it to be able to work with people that understand stuff like that?
That's the best part, man. That's what makes it so much more fun. And like one thing that we've been doing, like with some of this new stuff, is like so we'll take one of our fastest songs and we'll kick it off just for like a practice stint, and we'll play it like 3 times as fast, just to see if we could do it, and like who can survive to the end. You know, it's kind of like playing a game of Gauntlet Legends. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Mercy, man.
Tonight, man. Tonight we were doing Bamford because we got the show in Eugene tomorrow. With Cartilage and Embryonic Devourment and Toxic Witch, which I'm super stoked about. It's
gonna be a good one,
dude. Toxic Witch's first show back in 4 years. You know, like I'm super stoked for that. So we got the show tomorrow, and the show is Saturday, and so we were practicing tonight. And the last song of our set, one of our new songs that's on the second album. I love playing that song faster than what we should, dude. Like in the recording, like with how we play it at practice. It feels slow on the recording, and even the recording is fast. And it's, oh, dude, it's so fun.
So, like, you're talking about speed. Did you guys track to a click?
Yes. Yes, we did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. Metronome masters, bro.
Yeah.
Like, especially with this music, like, recording-wise, definitely. Like, I mean, that's kind of the standard nowadays, too, you know, honestly. Like, you know, we like the old school, but we're not that old school, you know, so.
Well, and we're not that good either. I mean, we got to use some technology to help. And playing to a metronome, man, once you hit certain speeds in complex riffage, you got to do it. You know what I mean? It's going to make it that much more clean. I mean, I'm not saying that we're anything close to guys like Archspy or anything like that, but we like to push ourselves. And we kind of push a lot of the time when we're writing some of this new content, we're kind of writing it out of our league a little bit. Yep. And then we kind of have to step up to the plate to be able to play it cleanly and professionally, you know, and get that good response from it. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like you're saying, you know, like it's modern times, you know, using a metronome, they've been around for a while anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's a standard at this point.
Well, I mean, like live, we don't use a metronome live. Live, we try to keep that natural element in there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when I play live, I definitely try to bring out my inner Gene Hoglan and keep that metronome in my head. But I'm not perfect. I'm not a Terminator. You know, like I'm not a robot. You know, I'm a human. I'm not Lord Marco. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but you know, I'm not Lord Marco. You know, so it's like, yeah, we when we play live, we keep it natural, and I feel like that keeps it human. You know, because like modern recording nowadays, you've got quantization, you've got metronome, you got all this other stuff for the fine tuning and shit. And so whenever we play live, we like to keep that natural human element to it.
Yeah, and kind of with that in the whole, like, practicing songs faster than what they should be, you know, like, it's kind of to test ourselves as well, and it, like, is kind of reassuring at the end of the song or at a break of the song, and then you just like look at each other and you're like, oh shit, like we as humans are doing this shit, you know. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my theory on that is like, you know, how many great records were made without a metronome because those guys practiced, they played. Yeah, absolutely. Most of them right before at a certain point. I mean, you know, and when you've got people that are competent, you know, a lot more is possible too, you know, and if you're aware, and especially if you guys are all singing stuff like that, like those cues are already there. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? And you know, how many times you listen to your own music, especially a recorded version of it, you're like, dude, I get it now. Like, you know what I mean?
Hundreds of times.
Yeah. You know, and like, a lot of people use backing tracks and stuff like that. And I get it for like synths and stuff like that, or like orchestration parts and stuff like that. Do you guys use any backing tracks live?
No, we do not. No, we just raw dog it.
All natural, buddy. All natural, raw dogging it for sure. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, Ed put in some like intro soundscapes and kind of like some trail off, you know, fade out at the end of some tracks, you know, just typical stuff that you would find in an album. But we don't have anything that's over the top like synths or anything like that. That's just not to say that we don't enjoy that type of music or that type of addition to music, but with Abiosis, that's not really what we're going for.
I think what would take away the in-ear playing live, like, would just be the feel off of each other, you know? Like, sometimes there's times when Brandon kind of improvs drum fills and stuff, which is super sick. Like, you know it's coming, but you don't know what exactly it's going to be, you know? So, I mean, that just adds to, like, the aspect of learning together and growing together and all that, so, yeah.
Another thing on that, I'm glad he brought that up, because that is true. Like, there are times where I do improv feels based on how I'm feeling or how the mood is, and I took a lot of influence from that with Mike from Suffocation, the old drummer for Suffocation. I was watching this interview with him where he was doing some solo stuff. I was watching an interview, and he was talking about like how he's never been happy with a record that he's recorded because he's constantly adjusting and constantly trying new things and stuff like that. And so, yeah, evolving. Yes, correct. Sorry. And so, like he is a big firm believer in improvising. If it all lines up timing wise and tempo wise, I mean, if it sounds better than the recording, why wouldn't you want to play it? And there's things where I'd like to go back and change it. There's things where, man, I wish I would have thought about that earlier, and that's a downfall of mine, I guess. But like whenever we play live, like, dude, there's just a few, and I'm sure other musicians, even you, could relate to this. There's just some moments where you're like, man, I'm feeling this right now. I'm going to lay down some beef. What sucks is whenever you mess it up, though.
Yeah, taking creative liberties sometimes. I mean, I get it, dude. And like you're like Mike Smith, awesome drummer, of course. And like as you evolve and improve as a musician, you're constantly trying to, push the boundaries, especially music you already know. So it's like, oh, I've got this down. Let me see if I can, just push the envelope just a little bit more every time you play. It's almost like it's like practicing while in the context of like playing the song. So, I mean, I get that. It's just like one good thing I think about using a metronome or a click live or in-ears, one advantage. And I mean, there's disadvantages to it too. But it's like, just like you guys ever get like super excited and you're like, all right, let's play. And then it's like you're rushing too much or this and that. But I guess if you practice it 4 times normal, it's okay then, you know what I mean? But
one thing I've noticed about me is like, man, I'll work really hard on it one day. So then I kind of like, if I take like a 4-hour practice or something, anything past that, it gets crazy. But then the next day you pick it up and you're still fresh off of that one because your muscle memory is still right there. Your stamina is up to par and it sounds great. But then I've noticed I can push it a little bit too much doing that. You know what I mean? Because that first time you pick it back up, it feels like butter, you're just kind of cruising right into it. But then you expect that the next time. And if you're not quite there, you're just kind of angry, and disappointed. And sometimes I've learned, you got to take like a little breather in between and refresh that desire to like pick it up and be like, okay, hell yeah, here we go, man. This is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can bring yourself out on it. And you give yourself tendonitis or tennis elbow or,
I did that
yourself.
last year. I got it in my picking hand. That shit was absolutely brutal.
Brutal indeed. Yeah, it's terrible stuff. And like, Brandon, do you ever have any problems with like your joints or anything going at those speeds?
So yeah, man. Like to be honest with you, so I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I've got some nerve damage. I've got bad circulation in my feet and my hands. So I am kind of like on a ticking time bomb, and I do try to take care of myself the best that I can. I could do better, but I'm still trying to do that. My biggest thing is I do need to warm up. I do need to get that circulation going. I haven't had any problems with like my joints or muscles or anything like that for a while. But the biggest thing is like if I don't get a good warm up in, my speed and stamina is not there. And especially with like my hands and my feet, because as a diabetic, I have lower circulation in those extremities. And then tack on like the nerve damage that I've accrued by having type 1 diabetes and stuff that's happened in the past and whatnot. So there are some shortcomings there, but I don't let that stop me. I don't let that define myself as a musician. I'll tell you right now, I talk the most shit about my drumming skills, dude. Like these guys have damn near buried me 6 feet in the ground because they're sick and tired of hearing me talk smack about my drumming, and so yeah, the only thing that I can do is try and do better, try and take care of myself. So like the biggest issue with me drumming is just the lack of circulation right from the start. So I have to take extra time warming up, have to take extra time practicing and so on and so forth. So that way, whenever I do play live, before my set, practicing, warming up and stuff, that way when I do play live, I'm just smooth right into it. So I think that's the biggest thing right there. And then I know there's been a few times where we're on stage and my blood sugar skyrockets and we get done with the set and I'm like dying, like legitimately dying. And so I have to take care of that real quick. I think there was we played this festival in Portland here quite a few years back and we were playing through the set and I started off the set great. And then about 3/4 of the way through the set, I was like, dude, I am dying. Like we need to finish this set right now. And we got done with the last song, and I threw my sticks down, got up off my kit, and ran into the bathroom and just horked up a lung. Went and took a shot of insulin. I had friends and people getting my stuff off stage. Man, I was not good. So I have to keep a pretty good eye on that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I imagine so, dude. Like when I went to Romania, I had never been in a place that hot before. And dude, I did the same thing, like blacked out for like 15 minutes after I played. Cause a lot of weight moving around, and it was extremely hot.
Man, yeah.
So, it was crazy. So I get it. But Logan, playing that upright bass, dude, like your fingers must be like tree trunks, dude. Like you crush a man's skull, dude.
They're getting there, man.
Dude, and that neck is thick too on that upright bass.
Yeah, I don't know. These guys kind of like, I didn't know if I was gonna play it for death metal because like I also like playing a lot of jazz and hip hop and shit. But yeah, like I just started practicing the set one day, and I told them, they're like, all right, we'll bring it to practice and see what you got. And so I did it, and they were like, all right, we'll bust it out at some shows. And
It's so
we did 3 shows in a row with it. I'm gonna leave it on the back burner for now. I don't want it to become like the thing that this band is known for and stuff. So, we're just gonna pop it in here and there. Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, it's unique for sure. I mean, that's like, you want to talk about like pushing the envelope. I mean, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Like an upright bass. I mean, what's the action like that far off that thing, dude?
Yeah.
So how do you play those tapping parts then that you're always doing on that thing?
So it is fretless, which kind of complicates it, and I kind of just hope for the best, especially live, But
Like, hold it down with your arm and
yeah, no, I don't know, because I tap pretty hard, like on the neck when I do. So I don't know, it's just like 16 years of experience catching up and knowing where to hit,
you can't mess with that. That's pretty cool. Like, seriously, that's cool.
Yeah,
So
thanks, man.
you're talking about shows coming up. I know you guys got a lot of stuff going on. Tell me about the shows, dude.
Yeah, so tomorrow, I don't know when this video will be out, but tomorrow is what, January 12th?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be in Eugene at John Henry's. We'll be playing with Toxic Witch, Embryonic Devourment from NorCal, and Cartilage from NorCal as well. Then Saturday, we're doing a little back-to-back run. We're going up to Kelso, and there's a 2-day fest called Grinding in the New Year. Yeah. And, yeah, a bunch of sick bands, local and from afar. And, yeah, it's a 2-day fest.
So we got the one. So we've got, and that 2-day fest is our buddy Dakota with Arrogant Behavior Promotions. He's the one throwing that. And so we've got tomorrow, Saturday, and then we've got one up in Seattle in March that Satanic Royalty Records put us on, just kind of like a pre-fest show that they got going on. And then we did just confirm a local show Saturday, April 27th here in Salem, actually, over at the Infinity Room. And that's going to be with our good buddy in Undoctrinate. And then Within Caskets is the other band that's on the bill. And we haven't played with them yet, to my knowledge, but check them out online, and they're pretty sick. Thompson's band? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw them a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool, man. Some, like, deathcore kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Salem's a pretty tough scene. It's pretty dry. Like, between you and us, there's not a lot here. I think there's maybe a few other bands, but, yeah, Dead Thrall and there's a few other hardcore bands and deathcore bands and stuff like that. But in terms of like the heavy and the brutal, it's pretty light out here. So when we do throw shows in Salem, we do try to make them a big deal because it is a hometown show for us. And we do like to get, people coming out, generate that scene and whatnot. And but our goal has always been to go out. Our goal has always been to travel to new spots. We try not to play the same spot twice in a year as much as we can, depending on the situation. We're always trying to find new spots to play or just like outreach a little bit more. I could tell you, like, one of my personal goals as a musician and being in a band and stuff is I absolutely, we're past 5 minutes, way past 5 minutes, right? Dude, I fucking want to play Obscene Extreme, dude. Like, absolutely want to play Obscene Extreme. I could be fine with never playing a show again if I could just get on that fucking stage and play Obscene Extreme, dude. Like, that looks like the coolest time, the coolest thing, dude. Like, I want to go to another country that I've never been before, because I've never been in the Czech Republic. Like, dude, it looks so cool. So that's always been one of our goals, is just, trying to outreach. We're still we're still open to booking more shows. We're trying to fill out the year a little bit, but I think right now we have a few one-off shows. We've got the 2 coming up this weekend, one in March, one in April. I think now we're going to try and fill in some time with like some Weekend Warrior stuff. Just a few Weekend Warrior runs, try and like, maybe like a Oregon, Washington, Idaho, or like Oregon, California, Nevada and back, something like that. Just kind of outreach a little bit like that. But, especially with Jake getting ready to be a dad, my daughter, she's 2.5 now. So, I'm starting to get out of that zone. But with him getting ready to be a dad, I want to make sure that he's close to home, ready for whenever the time comes. He's got all the support that he needs, him and his wife, they've been trying for 10 years to have a kid, and this is finally happening for them. So I definitely don't want anything to come up that's going to get in the way of that. I'm very, very much understanding and supportive of that. So
yeah, absolutely, man. And congratulations once again.
Thank you so
dude.
much.
That's really cool, and happy for you guys. And like you're saying, dude, when you're traveling, peace of mind at home is everything.
Oh,
When
yeah,
you're gone,
100%.
I mean, you've been in the military, in service, thank you for your service and all that jazz.
All good, brother.
Hell yeah. So, you know what I mean? And that's not just a mandatory thing. Like, it actually matters to people because that shit's important. But anyway, like you're saying, dude, being close to home and having home base and everything right there makes going out and traveling. I don't care if you work for the railroad or you work on a fucking boat or whatever you do, having things right at home is important. So you guys have a new record coming out and you're super stoked on that. We don't have a release date yet because you guys are shopping that. What is a label that would fit with your guys' release? I know you don't want to talk about it too much, but what is it? Where would it be at home at? Where would be some of its peers?
I think like Willow Tip or Season of Mist would be pretty sick. Also, Everlasting Spew.
Yeah, Season of Mist would be fantastic. I mean, I've always been a big Unique Leader fan. I think that would be really cool too. They've always kind of pushed that more brutal yet progressive side. And I think we all listened to quite a few bands off of that label, so that'd be pretty cool. Of course, big Malevolent fans and Deeds of Flesh and all that shit. So
yeah, I'd have to agree with all that. I think one thing that I have my eye on is like some of the I wouldn't want to call them like lower level indie labels, but just some of the non-major labels, and specifically for like distribution and stuff like that. Because I don't need to be a rock star, bro. Like I'm not trying to quit my career and just like be on the road all the time. Like I love spending time with my daughter. I love being a dad, So I want to try and find that good balance. So trying to be realistic about it and not waste anyone's time and stuff like that. Like I agree with everything that they said. We'd be great fits on all of those labels, and I think realistically we could obtain that and do that. But stuff like even Satanic Royalty Records, they've got a lot of stuff going on. They're doing some good shows. They got some good bands on their bill, like Dripping Decay, absolutely sick, dude, absolutely sick. And, stuff like that, especially, Everlasting Spew. Tito's always hitting me up, asking how things are going and asking how Abiosis is doing, and he's been keeping updated with all that stuff. So we've got our hands in a few different M&M bowls right now and, honey pots and stuff. So I feel like we've got some options, but I don't think we're getting our hopes up because realistically, like, yeah, having that help and having that distribution, having that backing absolutely helps. But we can also do things independently, and that's just kind of I think that's what separates us or separates some musicians from others is like some people are looking for a silver platter with everything handed to them like it's 1984 or something, dude. And it's just like, nah, man, like we've all got careers, we all got jobs, so...
I was just going to say, I mean, at the end of the day, we've been friends for a long time. Like, we just love playing together, man. And the ultimate goal is playing music, keeps us sane. And just being buddies, of course, we get a little competitive. We push each other, and that's kind of where we found this niche that we play currently. Being on a label would be fantastic. We would love to, get any kind of support, any kind of backing, or any kind of direction would be fantastic for us. But at the end of the day, as long as we get to keep continuing to play together, we're happy. And if it leads to some cool festivals along the way, some cool shows, meeting some great people, then, we're doing good. We're rock hard.
And it's tough to rock anyway, like you're saying, man. Like the whole idea of like it being the 80s and the silver platter and a tour bus and, making any money, that stuff's over. It's not
the
not
face
realistic.
of the talent scout. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's like in being discovered playing a show somewhere, like all these things that people think are unfortunately, maybe they're not impossible, but they're less and least likely to, you know what I mean?
Like if I was trying to make any money doing this, I wouldn't be in death metal. Flat out. Yeah. Flat out, dude.
There's a lesson to be learned.
Hey, kids, next generation, don't fuck up. No, but like, you know, like if I was trying to make any money, I wouldn't be in death metal. I do this for the passion. I do this for the enjoyment. I do this for the therapy and stuff like that. And, you know, and bringing it back to the whole label thing, like, yeah, dude, having a label backing us to help with distribution, help getting us on some of those bigger festivals and stuff, you know, at least putting our name out there. That's awesome, you know, and with modern times, social media and streaming platforms and stuff, that's great. Speaking of streaming platforms, we did just get on Spotify. Finally! So we did just get on Spotify. We have one track up there from our 2-song EP that we released back in February, the Tomb EP, with the tracks Tomb of Torture and Aberrant Decimation, right? Yep. And so those 2 tracks have been released. One of them is up on Spotify right now, just waiting on the schedule to release the other ones, and then we'll have the first album up there too. So those, you know, like those tools definitely help. You know, those tools definitely help because like even already, even though we've just had that one track up for like a week or 2 now, like we've already seen a jump in like, you know, people checking it out or like outreach and stuff. So and that, like Jake was saying, like that's the main goal is just enjoy what we're doing, have fun. If you're not having fun, then there's no point in doing it. You know, just enjoy what we're doing, have fun, write good music, and if something happens along the way, great. If it doesn't, not gonna stop us. Like we're not gonna wait for anyone, and we're not gonna stop doing what we want to do.
It sounds like music for the right reasons. You know, this is like you said, passion. This is about, you know, therapy. This is about getting better as a musician. Like that's what this is about, and that's what death metal really is. It's not about
100%.
you know, anything else other than those things. Like you said, if you want to make music, you know, join a cover band or go play drums for you know, frickin' Taylor Swift or something. You know what I mean? That's where you're gonna make
Cover
money.
bands make money, bro. Those
They
guys
do.
They make some money.
Some serious cash.
You know, and all right, so if you guys were gonna be in a cover band, who would it be?
Ooh,
Any
that's a
style
tough
you
one.
want.
I mean, realistically, if you're gonna make money from it, you
Doesn't
gotta,
have to be about making money. It could all be for just the sheer brutality of it, man. I don't.
or just the enjoyment.
Yeah, just the enjoyment.
Oh man.
I would have to go with something like thrash related. You know, something a little off the wall would be kind of cool, like Overkill, like an Overkill like cover band would
That'd
be
be pretty
fucking
rad. That'd be pretty rad. Yeah.
Sodom would be amazing.
Yeah.
Nuclear Assault.
There you go. That's
Hella Nuclear Assault,
Yeah.
dude. Like I would play Survive front to back. Another thing that I think I would like to do is there's quite a few like death metal and blackened death metal bands that just came out and heavy hit and then were never seen from again. And one specifically is Zyklon. Just absolute super group, absolute powerhouse, just the perfect combination of death metal and black metal. I think other than that, like, man, I don't know, like I would want to go with like something old school, dude, like some 70s classic rock, like some Deep Purple.
There you go.
That'd
Now
be
you're
the
talking.
shit, dude. That'd be awesome, dude. Or like
some organ souls and shit.
Dude,
Yeah, dude.
some Hagar, bro. Like,
There
let's
you
go, dude. What
There
about
you
you,
go.
Lugs?
Yeah, I guess I'm the odd man out. Aside from working with you on, aside from working with you on your cover album with 2 vocals that I did, I personally don't really care for the whole cover thing because it kind of takes the originality out of the musician aspect
this guy.
to me.
Yeah.
So
Says Dusty Cooter or something, right?
yeah, those are originals though, man. Yeah. But yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. I just like to play original stuff. It brings more passion and makes me actually feel more accomplished. So yeah,
keep the legacy alive.
it's my hot take.
To be a cover band of the original movie Heavy Metal, just that soundtrack.
There you go.
That
Mob
would be
rules, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic.
There you go, dude. Yeah.
Man, that'd be awesome.
You could like have the freaking movie playing in the background and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
For sure.
Play the songs that
Yeah.
you put on the movie and all.
There's
Yeah.
a really sick band you should check out. I don't think they're around anymore, but they're called Anchorhead.
I never heard of it. No.
Yeah, it's all Star Wars.
Oh right, because that was like where they went to get the droids, right? Or
I think I could be wrong here,
Yeah.
but I feel like Anchorhead was Jabba the Hutt's ship
Yeah.
okay.
when he went out to the Sarlacc pit.
Oh, on the Dune Sea.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Good stuff. I think if it was for me, I'd do like an Iron Maiden or something like that, or even
I
a
could see
thrash
you doing
band.
Iron Maiden,
Well, you know,
man.
like something's got a sing along chorus or something catchy. You can be like, yeah, this is cool, and then like something a little up tempo.
Yeah, exactly.
I like when I think about like what cover band I'd be in, I'm thinking, okay, who's not around anymore?
Right. Yeah,
like
that's true.
who's dead and gone, or who's too old to keep going. You know, like like some old school, like some Dio era Black
Bam,
Sabbath.
there you go, yeah.
You know, Dio era Black
Yeah.
Sabbath would be the shit.
That'd be cool.
You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
who could do Dio's voice?
Children of the Sea.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. But like
Headless Cross or whatever, all
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
dude.
Sign of
Like,
the Southern Cross.
Yeah, Sign of the Southern
yeah,
Cross,
dude,
yeah.
no, that would all be awesome. But I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of options that I'd like to do just to have fun with it in terms of like cover bands and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, nothing you want to make a career out of unless you're getting paid, but something for fun.
Those guys do get paid though, for real.
Yeah, they do. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, I remember like playing bar music, dude, and I remember hearing like Mustang Sally. But the lamest thing I ever played in my life was that song on Broadway at like some New Year's Eve party as a kid. And I was just like, this is like, I went outside for a break because I was too young to hang out in the bar, which is fine with me. I was like out there. Just
I
like,
get
this
it,
is
but I
terrible.
also grew up on that movie, The Commitments.
Yeah.
Never saw that.
Never
no.
saw it. Oh, it's like an Irish pub band.
Oh,
that's
that'd
one
be
of the
cool. Yeah,
That's
that'd be
one of the
rad.
big ones that they covered was Mustang Sally, but they blew it out of the park. It was good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that environment would have been cool as hell, but yeah, some raining out on the coast on a Tuesday playing Mustang Sally is pretty rough, dude.
Yeah, I get that, especially when it depends on who you're with. Too.
Yeah, it's true too. It depends on who Sally is and what she's riding. Man.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the guys that sing for that song look like Santa. So
Exactly. Right on, right on. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. What is your guys' goal for 2024? You got the album coming out. You got some shows coming up. If there's one thing that you guys are looking forward to or what your plans are, what are they?
Well, honestly, releasing the album's a big one. Get that out there and just kind of see if we get any kind of a response back from that. That's really exciting for us. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, man. So it'd be kind of cool just to see. Another big one for me is I feel like we have a lot of momentum at the moment. It's not necessarily like, shooting up to the stars or anything like that. But for us personally, getting into a creative writing style that we're able to keep consistently busting out new content with. So I'm really excited to start preparing actually for album number 3 and just kind of keep writing with my homies, and I mean, it's always a good hang sesh when you're with your band. So.
Oh, yeah.
I think what Jake said, but to go along with that, just a strong release. I want to get some visuals made. I'd like to do a music video or a lyric video. I feel like a lyric video with our material would be a little hard to read because the lyrics go so fast. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, I would like to get some visuals made, whether it be a lyric video, music video. I'd like to, get some festival dates in, like maybe try and drive out a little bit more, some Weekend Warrior stuff. But, yeah, like I want to build our arsenal of merch. I want to get some more shows in, Weekend Warrior stuff, and just a good strong release, get some visuals made, get some reviews for the material. We want to know what people think. Not to say that that's going to depict how we move forward or what we do with our music or what, but it's like we take a lot of passion in what we do. And whenever we pump out this material, it's not just as simple as putting out a song. Like this is time, this is energy, this is like all of us killing ourselves physically to try and get what the music demands of us. Fuck what we are demanding of the music. The music demands this of us, and we are going to respect that. And so, I want to know what people think. We want to know what people think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you want to flush it down the toilet? Do you want to put it inside something and stick it up inside you? Like, whatever, dude. Like, I want to know. Yeah, so,
One hell of a physical release.
Yeah, a physical release. So, I think that's my main thing that I'm looking forward to is just, like he said, just a strong release and then just build up our arsenal, merch, visuals, shows. I don't want to like overdo it on shows. I'd like to do a few Weekend Warrior things and then, try and get some festivals in there, but just trying to keep it realistic, but have a good time.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. To all of that.
Let's go.
No, yeah, I mean, obviously we all have riffs in the bank and that that are starting to see the light of day for number 3 and stuff, So that's good. Personally, I just like seeing the growth of my friends and what they're becoming with their lives, like Jake becoming a father, Brandon becoming a stronger drummer than he ever has been and continuing to like climb that mountain, and it's pretty unbelievable, Cole absolutely riffing as well. And so, yeah, I think like we just got a lot of good things going on in personal lives. And so, yeah.
A positive environment is a big factor in that because, pre-COVID and during COVID, there was a lot going on in the Abiosis camp. There were some health issues happening on all fronts. I had health issues. Jake had health issues. Logan had health issues. We were going through a transition with our guitar player. Our original guitar player, Jesse, he was more career focused and wasn't going to be able to dedicate the time. So, we were looking for found Cole, so there was a lot of prep work, during that hiatus, I should call it, that we had, a few shows here and there. And another thing is like I moved back home from Central Oregon, fuck Central Oregon. Sorry. Just not a fan right now,
Okay, I'm going to bust this out. Check this out. I'm going to show this. Here's the camera. I got this scar. I got cancer. They cut it out of my face, which is pretty metal. And I will say I'm pretty excited. The guy that worked at like the customer service desk at Fred Meyer's called me Scarface, and I felt like a big man. I felt like a big man. I was like,
is that gonna be like your gamer tag now?
If this one gets reported again, yes. then I will move on.
Right on. Long live Scroter Sack, dude.
I liked Finger Your Brown, but that's just me.
Well, all right, you guys. Nice talking to you as always. Looking forward to your guys' release. The two things that I'm taking away from this are effort and discipline, man. So more power to you.
But at the same time, finding happiness with your homies. Just having a great time producing it.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, man, if you're not having fun, there's no point in doing it, man. And that's the biggest thing is like, yeah, we have goals and aspirations and stuff that we would like to do, and we do plan on doing them. We are striving to do those things, but we can't lose sight of why we started this. It was to hang out with the homies, write some good material, and have some fun. So I really appreciate you having us on here, man. You've got a lot of momentum going. Like all of your releases have been great. I'm stoked for your future releases. Like your guitar is awesome, and just you've been doing a lot of good things, and you're repping Oregon hard, dude. And I think that's awesome. So.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, 100%, Matt. It's been an honor from our end. We've known you for a long time, man, and you have put in some of the most work and dedication that the three of us have ever seen, and we are so stoked to still be buds with you after all this time.
Oh, likewise, you guys. Thank you. Nothing but love and respect all the way. Looking forward to your guys'. Of course, dude. Yeah. What do you think I did to that Spotify?
Yeah. I mean, you got to get it out.
Right. That physical release. Right on, you guys.
All right, man.
Thank you. Abiosis. Listen to these guys. Right on.